You're completely full of shit.
We just want to feel it.
Every day this mink gets rubbed down with butter or something.
It's because it's a fucking weird animal.
That's some bullshit snowflake crap, man.
Plus, you don't need 101 children to make a coat.
Sushi jackknife. 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 Sushi jackknife.
I wanted to give a little shout out, Nathan. To
me?
Well, obviously. To you. Yeah, to you.
Cool.
Yeah.
You know this is all about me, right?
My good pal, my virtual companion these days, the man who is in my ears more than any other.
That's a really creepy way of putting it.
Here's to you, Nathan. Here's to you.
Yeah.
No, that's a given. No, I wanted to give it. I had a little fun. I don't even know if I told you. I had a little sticker exchange via Twitter with the fellas over at the Dad Narok podcast, as in Ragnarok, but Dad Narok. And
no, I get it. Yeah.
I gotta say, nice guys, and thanks for the sticker exchange. So a little shout out. But their stickers are way cooler than ours. We gotta step up our fucking sticker game, buddy.
Well, does anyone want a sticker?
T does. T wants one.
Did T say she wanted one, or are you just assuming?
No,
are you
she
speaking
did.
for T?
I'm not. I would never. No, she does. She wants one. She told me so. And I might be out, though. That might have been it, in which case we got to get some new ones. And,
okay.
And, I think we can. It's an opportunity for expanded creativity, Nathan.
Do we need to have a slogan on our sticker?
I don't know if we want. A wildly successful podcast is pretty fun.
I've got a few ready.
Okay, hit me.
Sushi Jackknife. It's a podcast.
Uh-huh.
I like it because it's informative, very direct.
It tells you what's going on.
Yeah, there's not a lot of extra information for you to sift through. You're not going to go, what is this? It's a podcast.
I do quite like that.
Sushi Jackknife, jam us in your ear hole.
Okay. Sushi Jackknife.
I think that's good.
Sushi Jackknife, what else were you doing? Question mark.
Sushi Jackknife, we're better than Joe Rogan.
Oh, coming for you, Joe.
Well, no, Joe Rogan's just a garbage person.
Okay. I mean,
I know I've expressed this before.
Many times.
He's gotten worse.
Has he now? Is there?
Oh, yeah.
Is there an update or something? Because I don't know.
Well, no, he's an anti-vax person.
Oh, he is. I didn't know that.
Not like I'm sure he is anti-vax, like, for children.
Yeah.
But, like, COVID vaccines.
Oh, why? Why doesn't he want to do that?
I don't know, because he's an idiot.
Okay. Is it like a don't trust the government thing?
Probably. He doesn't trust the government or any human being. Except people he probably shouldn't trust. Alex Jones, people like that.
He did. Yeah. He did have him on a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
It was interesting. I listened to some of it as long as I could because it was like breaking my mind. It was it was a lot. Alex Jones is a lot.
Yeah. Who would you rather spend half an hour with?
Okay. All right.
Alex Jones or Donald Trump?
Oh boy.
You have to pick one, and it has to be a cordial half hour.
I feel like I'd have things to say to Donald Trump. I don't really care about Alex Jones at all. I mean, he exists and he says provocative things, but he doesn't really have any power necessarily. I mean, I guess he does in a way, but not so much. But Trump, I could be cordial and still criticize him at the same time.
No, it has to be overly polite.
Overly polite? Well, I feel like, yeah, I'd still go Trump, actually. I feel like I could construe it somehow. Because Alex Jones would just yell at you. Like, I feel like Donald Trump not having anything, he's got no skin in the game with me. Like, I don't matter. You know.
Yeah, but he would let you know that constantly.
Well, sure, but I don't think he'd yell at me. I just don't want to get yelled at. How's that? I just don't want to be yelled at.
Okay.
Alex Jones will definitely yell at you.
So, if you don't want people to yell at you, who would you rather spend half an hour with?
Okay.
Being cordial.
Yeah.
Donald Trump or Gordon Ramsay?
Oh, well, Gordon Ramsay is British, so I can just kind of laugh that off. So, Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah. He'd call you all sorts of names, like
fine.
A donut. He calls people donuts all the time.
A donut?
You donut? Yeah, you donut.
That's cute.
You muppet?
Muppet?
Yeah.
See, I'd get a kick out of all this, I think.
It's I mean, obviously Gordon Ramsay's the correct choice if you had all three in a line.
Oh, God, yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
He's the only viable option out of the three.
Well, and you're probably not going to get yelled at as long as you're not undercooking scallops in front of him.
Well, and I won't do that because...
like if you undercook the scallops, you're in trouble.
Well, sure, yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah.
But I'm just a guy. I'm not a chef. I don't know. I don't own a restaurant. I don't know what I'm doing.
Conversely, if you had Alex Jones and you undercook the scallops, he would just yell at you for cooking scallops.
Or nothing at all, as I take it.
The scallops are mind control devices created by the Democrats and Nancy Pelosi to get you to vaccinate your children.
That sounds right.
So that they all get autism.
Cool.
Yeah. You know that's right there in line with everything he says.
Oh, it's there. No, the one part of that more recent Joe Rogan, Alex Jones thing that I remember Alex Jones saying was he was going on about his father worked in some program for the government. And it was a doctor, I think, or something. I don't know.
I already don't believe this story.
I don't either. But he said his dad would come home and tell him about all the secret stuff going on, like that the government had cyborgs and stuff when he was 8 years old. And he just has this line. He's like, "Were you at the kitchen table when you were 8 hearing about cyborgs?" That just stuck in my head.
So there's a couple things happening there. Number one, his dad might just be a liar.
True. True.
Which is fine. It's a dad lie. The other option is his dad's not lying, but he's just a terrible government employee.
Yeah,
like just the worst.
He just says whatever.
Yeah, he's just walking around to everyone going, "Hey, you know, we got a bunch of spies over in Russia. You want to see where they're at?" Not a good employee.
No. Yeah, well, these are both true. You're not wrong.
So, I don't know which is the ultimate truth in Alex Jones's life. Probably neither. His dad was probably like a gardener or something. Like just something very boring that there's not a lot of stories to.
He worked at the county court office or something.
I don't even think he was that close to government.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't believe that there's even a hint of truth in anything he says.
That's probably correct. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's worth a shot that's right.
I'm still thinking I need to that business. The crazy conspiracy theory business.
You need to get into the crazy conspiracy theory business?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're in it, friend. You've got a platform. Let's go.
I think
Shine your conspiracy boots, everybody.
I think I could get a lot of people buying whatever I'm saying.
I mean, I take you with a grain. I'll say that.
Yeah, but you know better because you've been around me.
I do know better. Yeah.
Imagine if you haven't been around me. You have no idea.
That's
People
true.
might think I'm always telling the truth, when in fact, I'm just always messing with everyone.
you might be incredibly credible, but
Yeah,
you're not.
no, I'm not. I'm not credible at all.
You're completely full of
No
shit.
one should listen to anything I say about anything unless it is about the late 90s, early 2000s Kansas City Royals.
Which you know very well.
I know way too well. I can talk about the time Brian Bannister was our all-star representative for days, if you want me to.
Wow. I don't, but that's good to know.
He wasn't good. They were so bad that's the only... Anyway.
Oh, okay.
I can describe all of these things in detail. That's pretty much it. That's the only thing anyone should trust me on.
You've done your research. Yeah, well, good. So that means then we have complete freedom to say whatever because, no one's going to take you seriously. You've just told them not to.
That's true.
So, yeah.
Man, I kind of just blew my business model, didn't I?
You did. Yeah, you totally did.
Oh, man.
We should start over. Let's just start over.
I'm sorry, guys. We're gonna have to take this all back. Can you backmask that entire last 10 minutes so that if I decide
everything will be in reverse up until this point. People will love that. That'll be amazing.
Yeah. So how's life?
Well, fuck, man. I mean, it's happening. It's going on. Around me, it feels like. It's not so much that I'm participating in it, but it's happening.
You're not participating in your life?
I mean, I'm participating in the normal ways. It's hard to it's hard to do stuff other than your routine at the moment, I think. Yeah, which is okay. That's okay. I'm fine. I get up, I do the stuff, I go to work, I come home, I read a book.
I'm fine.
Or I do a thing. Yeah, I'm all right. No, I mean...
We had the moment right there where your voice gets higher when you say something, Oh, good! Yeah.
All right. Fun. No, to be truthful, I keep finding myself slipping into, existential conversations with people a lot. And, that's fun. But I think it speaks to everyone's mental state right now that we're just, some of us are very willing to go there and just...
It's at least you have people to have the existential crisis or conversations with.
True.
Most of the time, I'm at home by myself or with a 4-year-old. Yeah. And I don't know if you've ever tried to have an existential conversation with a 4-year-old.
Oh, I have.
But, it's... You start contemplating the mysteries of life, and they answer with, I like Doc McStuffins, and you're like, that's not really valid to what I'm saying in this situation.
Yeah, I feel like you're not listening.
I feel like you're hearing me, but you're not hearing me. Do you understand what I'm saying?
You're not here with me, right? Well, Doc McStuffins, you got to give it to her. At least she has purpose in life, right? She's, even in a pandemic, she'd be all right, because all those stuffed animals and shit are at her house already, and they are chronically getting injured.
Yeah,
it's a whole thing.
It's actually a real
She's got
problem.
a lot on her plate. Yeah, I feel like they need more health and safety codes in the McStuffins household because they're just fucked all the time,
nonstop.
Yeah.
You know what they should do for a Doc McStuffins special?
What's that?
Just there's a COVID outbreak.
Oh yeah, there we go.
So it would teach kids about what COVID is in a fun and whimsical way.
I like it.
Because
the snowman gets COVID.
Yeah. You want fun and whimsy when you talk about COVID.
You do. That's how we've been dealing with it for the last, since March or whatever. Yeah. Fun in a whimsical way, a way where we're not taking it seriously. Yeah.
When did we turn the corner again?
I don't know. What you mean?
No, well, Donald Trump said we were turning the corner.
Oh, I think we turned it like so many times. We're back where we started.
Did we get lost turning corners? Is that what happened?
Yeah. It turned out it was a labyrinth, and just taking turns was not going to get us anywhere.
So it's like, oh, we're turning the corner. Dead end.
We sort of needed a plan all along, and we didn't get that.
Well,
so
I mean,
yeah.
Who really plans anything, though? You know? Like, oh, there's a pandemic. I think we'll just see how this thing plays out.
I feel like we're working our way back to one of these existential conversations.
My entire extended family lives out in the middle of nowhere. I believe we've discussed this before.
Sure.
And they're always behind the times on everything. And apparently they've been behind the times on COVID. because it's just now getting there, and everybody keeps like, oh, here's the update on who has it. And it's just it's nowhere, Oklahoma. It's finally even gotten there. I don't even know how it got there. Like, it has to transport with a human being. There was no human being going there.
No one purposefully goes
just
there.
Like a guy got lost and was like, oh, I'm going to cough on people now, and now it's out there.
Yeah.
So
that's probably what happened. Either that or a mink got it and ran to Oklahoma.
That could be.
Yeah, poor mink.
Yeah.
I'm still tripping out about the mink. All the fucking mink had to die.
Yeah, that'll teach it. We need to put those minks in their place, you know? I'm so tired of them being all cocky, strutting around. Like, you want me for a coat?
Their beautiful fur. Right. Fuck you. Well,
you're not special. I'll wear a raccoon coat. You're not special. Get out of here.
Ooh, yeah. Well, see, that'd be a lot easier to acquire. A raccoon
It would
coat.
also probably be itchier. I don't know. Is it itchy?
I imagine. I don't know. I've never worn raccoon.
I've never worn fur.
I haven't either, actually. I don't think it's supposed to be itchy. I mean, I think it's supposed to be, smooth and all that. Yeah.
Okay. If anyone wants a sticker for this podcast, provide us one fur coat of your choosing. It doesn't matter what the animal is.
Squirrel.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We just want to feel it.
Chinchilla. Yeah. We just want to get together in the basement and just, try it on, feel it out.
I honestly don't understand why people don't do faux fur coats more often, because I feel like those would be softer.
I think you could I assume
you can control the softness of it.
Right. There's got to be a chemical way to do that, right?
You don't get to control how soft, your Dalmatian coat is.
Well, yeah. I feel like there's some level of boutiqueness in the world for the ultra rich where they know the animals that are being raised for their coats, and their diets are controlled for. It's like Kobe beef, but it's like every day this mink gets rubbed down with butter or something. I don't know what they do.
I just like the idea of. I'm just imagining a person rubbing a mink down with butter. That's good. All I'm going to do the rest of the podcast now.
That sounds like it would be really difficult. Yeah. They seem very slippery to begin with, and then the adding the butter to the scenario is just
you're getting some scratches if you rub a mink down with
butter. I'm fascinated with creatures in the evolutionary history that are just long like that, it just doesn't make sense. Like a dachshund. Well, granted, we made dachshunds.
Yeah,
really.
but you know why we made dachshunds, right?
To get into holes, right, and to chase rats.
Chase not gophers.
Oh yeah, badgers.
It's something like that.
Moles?
It may be I don't know. Something that burrows.
Yeah, those all burrow.
So a bunch of people went, hey, I bet we could make something to get that.
And the dachshund was born. No, yeah, no. So a dachshund, okay, we did that, but like a mink or a ferret or an eel, all long-bodied creatures. And I mean, that's just evolution in action for me, right there. It's like something happened along the way where that was an advantage, and
a ferret needed to be twice the length of a rat.
Yeah. Sure, snakes. Snakes are weird. Snakes are one of the weirdest creatures.
I know about snakes because I learned about it in Sunday school.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah, no, snakes had legs.
Oh,
but when
the
snake made Eve eat fruit,
right.
the vitamins were not good for her.
Oh,
and
right.
So God went, no more legs for you.
Goodbye, legs.
That's canon right there. That is a fact.
Well, so, a lot of cultures, interestingly, have like a snake origin story like that.
It's a fucking weird animal.
It's fucking weird. That's what it is, right? Like, there's nothing else like it. There's nothing else on the land that doesn't have, besides like a worm, but that's
that doesn't count.
You can kind of understand a worm. Yeah. It's like it lives underground all the time,
No, it's weird that there is one creature that every single religion in their creation story went, well, we gotta come up with something to explain this.
I don't remember these other stories, but it's a lot of the same thing where it was a thing with legs and then it did something and therefore it lost its legs. Yeah, right?
We can't just let this thing be. We have to explain why this exists because people are going to have questions.
It does not fit the criteria. That's what it is about snakes. It does not fit the criteria. Plus, they're scary. They're scary. We like to tell stories about scary creatures. There's a lot of spider stories.
Are snakes really that scary?
I mean, in a way, they're scary because, like, what else? But I guess besides a spider, can sneak up on, or maybe a scorpion can sneak up on you and fucking attack you, and you never know until you're screwed already.
See, I get that, but I feel like the idea of snakes is a lot scarier than an actual snake. Because you see an actual snake, and most of the time they're just like, I'm slowly going this direction now. Watch me slither that way.
I don't know, man. Some of them are fast. I
mean, some of everything are fast.
Well, sure, yeah, okay, but not everything has venomous fangs.
Well, but not all snakes have venomous fangs either.
It's true, but you sort of assume, to be safe. I don't know. I walked up on a rattlesnake in the woods one time, and I was probably like 6 to 10 feet away from it, and it was doing its thing, and it was like fall, and so the leaves were down, and so I heard the leaves rustling, right? And that was pretty fucking scary. It was out of like striking range, I think, because can't they jump like half their body length or something like that?
Well, I haven't really done much research into
the
leaping ability of snakes.
That seems like something we all learned. We all had books about in like 4th grade, and we got from the book fair, and we promptly forgot.
I don't think I ever had a snake book. We have, my child has a bug book. It teaches about all the different bugs, which are creepy. But the only page he really likes is the one where it says, don't step on bugs, and shows a foot about to step on a bug. And he just wants to turn to that page and go, uh-oh. That's the entire lesson he has learned. This book is teaching you don't ever step on any bug whatsoever. It's a terrible lesson.
There are times where it's perfectly appropriate to step on a bug.
Not according to this book. Never do it.
That's some bullshit snowflake crap, man.
Oh, those snowflakes.
There are perfectly appropriate times. I saw this video on YouTube a while back. I just went down a rabbit hole with Holden watching like giant spider videos. And we watched this one, and there was this spider in someone's apartment in Japan. And this fucking thing was the size of like a saucer. Like, it was big, and it was in their house. And it was fucking fast, too, by the way. Talking about things being fast. It was fast, because they went for it, and they missed, of course. People always miss. And it hid in their closet, and it ran away real fast. And, but if you could get that thing, that's what you have to kill that thing. What else are you going to do?
I'm glad you ask.
You're going to try to catch it and get bit?
No, what you do is you
do?
catch it, and then you become like the person who created dachshunds. You domesticate this cat-sized spider, and then you have house spiders.
See, just not the same, I think.
You don't know. You've never petted a spider. They might be soft again. You don't know.
They probably... that's a good point. I wonder how many spiders we'd need to make a spider fur coat.
Well, it depends on the spider. If it's one of those spiders, not as many, obviously.
Sure.
If we're talking tarantulas...
Like a dog. Like a fucking pug-sized spider. Yeah.
Cruella de Vil needed 101 Dalmatians to make a very large fur coat.
Well, she was a large woman,
It's too many dogs. Like, was she afraid she was going to mess up with a few of them? And she needed backup?
To be fair, was it because they were puppies? Is that why she needed so many?
Maybe, but... I've seen a Dalmatian puppy. If I murdered... if I were to murder 101 Dalmatian puppies... I could at least bust 2.5 coats out of that,
I think so. I would assume. It's just dawning on me how fucking twisted the plot of 101
terrible.
Dalmatians is. Yeah. All she wanted to do was turn him into a coat. That's the whole thing.
The entire villain of this children's movie, her entire thing is, I want to murder dogs. That's it. That's the whole thing. She doesn't have any real reason. She's just like, it would be nice to have a coat.
A coat made of dog.
I could go buy a coat. No. I'd rather just have my henchmen kidnap a bunch of dogs, kill them, we'll make a coat. Why not?
What a horrible human being.
And no one in that ragtag bunch of ne'er-do-wells appears to be a seamstress that would be able to put a coat together.
Well, obviously, she's going to ship those puppy furs, to the east somewhere. Don't you think? She's Cruella de Vil.
She probably has a sweatshop somewhere she was going to send them to.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. The smarter thing to do, she could have avoided this whole problem. She could have just bought a couple Dalmatians and, bred them. And then, it would have taken a while, but,
Yeah, that's true.
She could have had her own little pin of Dalmatians and know who's going to stop her. There's a lot of plot holes in this movie.
Everyone, was very upset about Michael Vick. Rightly so.
Oh, absolutely.
When he had a dogfighting ring.
Yeah, that was bullshit.
No one is calling to cancel Cruella de Vil.
She's grandfathered in because it was a while ago. That's what it was.
Back in that time, it was okay to murder dozens of puppies.
I think that's right. Yeah. No one who's counting. Really,
it was the 60s. People did crazy things.
Do you think maybe she had fried her brain with acid or something? And that's what led to this insane obsession?
I don't know if she had, but now that you mention it, the writers very well may have.
She looks fucked, though,
That's
in
true.
the movie.
Oh, no, she's strung out on something. For sure.
Yeah.
I do kind of feel like it was just lazy writers.
Yeah.
Who went, We need a villain. What's the worst thing we could think of? Murdering puppies? That seems bad, right? Yeah, let's just do that.
They started with children, and then Disney quickly put the kibosh.
Well, plus you don't need 101 children to make a coat. They're bigger than a Dalmatian
like
puppy.
4. Yeah.
And 4 children is not quite the same title. So
Yeah. 4.5 children. Oh, this sounds like a lovely little, family drama, maybe. No. It's about a grown elderly woman, former cocaine addict, current methamphetamine addict, who wants to make them into a coat.
I mean,
for her, just one coat. Just one coat.
Really, it's not that far off from, like, Hansel and Gretel.
That's true. Hansel and Gretel is also fucked.
I was thinking
time.
about this recently, actually. So as a kid, I read all of those stories. Like,
all the, what are they?
The Grimm's fairy tales.
Grimm?
Yeah.
Yeah, Grimm. Yeah.
Specifically Hansel and Gretel. Like 8 or 9, I read these. I don't know how that shaped my life going forward, but I'm not sure it was in a great way.
Sure. No, I mean, yeah.
I mean, it is a good cautionary
fearful?
tale not to go into candy houses in the middle of woods.
Well, yeah. I mean, just don't go into houses where you don't know who's there.
Yeah, but what if it's made of candy?
Even so. Is it so? What's the point of the Hansel and Gretel story? Hansel, Gretel. What's the point? The point is, correct me if I'm wrong here.
Are you asking what the moral of the story is?
Yeah, what's the moral? It's like, don't be a glutton. Is that it? Like, because don't they go in?
I'm not sure there's a real moral to that story, honestly.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, it may be a story for adults. Like, hey, don't kidnap and try to eat children.
Oh, God.
If you do, they may escape their cage and push you into an oven. The end.
Hey! I don't know if you saw, what's that show? What's the new Simpsons guy show? Disenchantment? Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you see the episode? Did you watch that?
I only watched a couple episodes of it.
Okay. There's one where they do the Hansel and Gretel thing, but it's Bean, and Bean, Bean like murders the old woman with an axe or something. No, Hansel and Gretel are the murderers in it. And, I think she murders them. That's right.
I mean, Hansel and Gretel are actually the murderers in the story.
Well, but in this version, they're grown and they're trying to trap people.
Right. Well, I mean, they probably have a lot of issues from the time they were trapped by a random woman in the woods who tried to eat them.
True. Well, like they always say, like, you're abused and so you abuse, right? So you're repeating the pattern.
It's just a very specific pattern to be repeating.
Requires a lot of planning also. I mean,
it's also just poor planning to build a house that has candy on it in the woods.
Yeah. Right.
Like, it's going to rain. What's your candy budget for repairs?
You're going to have ants like fucking crazy.
Oh, man, it's the worst.
By the way. Yeah, you're going to have ants, you're going to have tarantulas.
You'll have ants, and those will draw pug-sized spiders into your house.
That is correct. And maybe Mink with COVID. COVID Mink.
That would be a good band name.
COVID Mink. Yeah, it's all right. It could go.
Yeah, I'd listen to COVID Mink at least once. Like, I'd try it out on Spotify.
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I'm not buying the vinyl, but I'd check it out,
That'd be a good candidate for a picture disc on vinyl. It's just a coughing mink spins around on your record.
I think we've officially lost our minds.
I think we have too, Nathan. It's been, jeez Louise, it's been a time.
Yeah. This is a weird one now, because my child is finally at the age where he cares about Christmas and Santa Claus and things.
Oh yeah.
And it's now the point in history where we go, yeah, Santa Claus, you can't see him.
Completely invisible,
like,
that guy.
You're not allowed to go talk to him, get near him. He will cough on you, you will die. So don't do that.
Oh,
yeah.
right. Well, let me tell you.
Our era now.
That is our era, yeah. Like, you're not sitting in this old man's lap. He's definitely sick.
Or you're sick and you'll kill Santa, and you don't want to do that.
Do you want to kill Santa, little boy? No, don't go to Home Depot, though, because they always have this very aggressive Santa. So, unless COVID got him, because, I mean, it's possible.
At Home Depot?
It's possible. Yeah, there's a Santa usually at the Home Depot. And he's a grungy Santa. He's got a little ponytail hanging out back there behind the hat, and smells a little bit like stale beer. Yeah, don't fuck with that Santa.
I think you were just saying on the lap of a day laborer. I think that's a different person.
Oh, his name wasn't Santa. It was Fanta. It's a nickname.
Yeah, you don't want to sit on just random day laborers' laps.
Well, I mean, we all get by in this world in our own way.
Yeah, I mean, you might. I'm not.
Who are you to judge? Who are you to judge?
That's on me. You know, if that's how you get your kicks. Do you have to pay a day laborer to sit on their lap?
It depends on the person, I think.
I just wondered what the rate is.
What the going rate? It's usually by the minute.
Okay.
You know. Yeah. And if you want a happy ending, that costs more.
Well,
naturally.
yeah, because that drifts into the prostitution realm. Before that,
no. They just read you a story with a happy
that's
ending.
On me again.
Yep. You're prejudging. It's not your kink. So get out of here.
Yeah, I'm kink judging.
Yeah.
Anyone who's listening to the podcast that likes to sit on random day laborers' laps for fun, for thrills, I apologize.
Yeah,
that's
good.
That's really your thing, and I shouldn't judge that. So
right, it's consensual on both parties. Mm-hmm. You know,
hopefully, you don't want to force a day laborer to let you sit on their lap.
I mean, it's really the economy that's forcing them. It's not me directly. It's it's circumstance.
Stop moving! I'm gonna sit on you.
It's the wheel of fate. No, so existential stuff, right? So inevitably, I'll walk into a room at work, and this is not a complaint at all because I like this kind of stuff. But there's a lot of YouTube videos happening right now, between working, just about like how to like get yourself off like a dopamine high, because inevitably people have been during the pandemic have been spending a lot more time on their computers and their phones, and getting that instant gratification feeling, right?
So people, to figure out how to get off their computers and phones, are watching videos on their computers and phones? Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, just wanted to...
Yeah. And so this dude is explaining, how, and he's not wrong. He's not wrong that, we get a little hit, from, all this stuff is very stimulating, right? And so sometimes you need a little reset to kind of come down, right, off of that high. that you're getting from all this really stimulating stuff, right? And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. I don't know. I mean, I definitely have done the same thing, right? I've done this. I've fucked around on my phone endlessly, especially during the pandemic. I started playing games on my phone, which I never really did much before. I did a little here and there, and that's all about that reward feeling, right? It's like, oh, I got the coin, yay,
Yeah.
But it's a I don't know what I'm getting at here. It's just an observation, really.
So, according to the YouTube video, how do you get yourself to stop watching YouTube?
Well, he said, I mean, there wasn't really any revelatory advice, I would say, like he was talking about just trying to tune into, smaller things, set little goals for yourself, like instead of watching endless YouTube, which I'm definitely guilty of, set a goal to read X number of pages per day or something and just do that as consistently as possible. And you'll sort of build that muscle, right? You'll build that tolerance.
Yeah, I guess.
Back.
So I have this weird thing with thoughts like that. Specifically when it comes to turning off TV, whatever, to read a book. Not that I'm anti-book. Yeah. Obviously, I'm pro-book.
You're pro-book, big time, yeah.
I feel like reading a book is just jamming something else into your brain.
Yeah, well, and that was kind of... Yeah, I'm struggling with why I brought this up, but there's something about it that just turned me off a little bit, I was like, I don't know about this advice. Because it's good to read. Sure, you'll learn something if you're reading a nonfiction book. If you're reading a novel, you'll be entertained. You'll be in somewhere else for a while. And there's nothing wrong with any of that.
Very good.
It's very good.
If one is trying to reset their brain, to me, consuming media isn't the way to do it, regardless of the media type.
Yeah. Sure. And I guess what he's saying is take it by degrees. I mean, he was even saying, like, instead of watching, videos about something banal, watch educational videos instead, learn something. Which, sure. And so I guess if that's your scale, then reading a book, like when do we ever get to meditating in this scale, right?
Oh, man. If you're working your way down, like so you start with watching Real Housewives
VR
of Panama City.
In virtual reality.
And then you work your way, down to something less offensive than the Real Housewives of Panama City, like the Kardashians. And then you work your way down from the Kardashians to like a scripted sitcom.
Sure. Yep.
Then you go to the news. Then you go to documentaries.
Yeah.
I feel like you're roughly 5 years away from meditating at that pace.
I do too. Yep. Probably like 3 years away from reading a book. Right. 4 years away from reading nonfiction. Right. And eventually you'll get to just sitting in silence for a few minutes.
Just, 3 minutes of silence, and you're like, this is what I did all this for. All right, so what are those housewives up to now?
I guess what I'm getting at is, like, I didn't realize how bad it was. Like, I'm not saying that I can do without these things. Like I say, I certainly watch a lot of YouTube, and I'm definitely guilty of fucking around on my phone way too much. But, like, it's not that hard for me to switch gears and read a book. Like, I like books. I get into books, and I'm sure other people are like that too.
No one has ever read a book. Everyone just says they read books. No one's ever read a book.
Oh, that's actually true
People
to
do
a certain
say they read a
extent,
lot
isn't
of
it?
books that they don't read.
Yeah. And they don't really read.
Yeah, it's... I've noticed this in life. There's a lot of people who want to tell you about how great a book is that they've read, but they're on chapter, 2.
Right.
They're not finishing that book.
You're not even... No, they're not. They're not.
And that's fine. You don't have to finish the book. I don't care if you finish the book.
No.
I had a coworker a while back that it was like a thing with him where for some reason he had it in his head that I read constantly. I don't know why. I mean, you read. I'm not.
Yeah.
I wasn't sitting there in between things at work reading a book or anything. It didn't come up.
Right.
So it became like a thing where it was like he needed to tell me, like inform me that he was reading X book, whatever book it is. Okay, great.
Oh my god. Because he's comparing himself to you or something. Okay.
I don't know if it was a thing where it was him trying to impress me or what. And there's in that situation, there's no good way to say, I don't care.
Right, like I could give a shit what you're doing.
I don't care if you've ever read a book, if you ever will read a book. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Even if I were your best friend, wouldn't care.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, reading a book is not just a solution. You have to read a decent book. You can read a lot of bullshit. There's a lot of bullshit books. All those Sue Grafton
novels exist for a reason.
Right. Or even just stuff that just is flat out not true. Like your conspiracy theory books.
Your Bill O'Reilly
things of that
historical
nature.
Books.
Yes, those are great books.
Bill O'Reilly has children's historical books.
Oh boy!
And
really?
my father-in-law has
it's depressing.
Purchased these not for my child. Hopefully, he knows better than that.
Thank goodness.
but for my nieces, and I don't think that's probably a good source of information.
No, I would say not. It's it's. I mean, I feel for people. I guess I didn't realize this was a problem. That people were needing to the point where they needed to like detox.
You didn't know that was a problem?
I mean, I guess I didn't realize it was that much of a problem for that many people.
It's a very widespread problem. This is how bad it is, really. There is a company out there, and I saw this a long time ago, that has created, I think it may have been on Shark Tank. That's right, I watched TV and saw this. That has created a faux phone, basically, where it doesn't do anything, but it's like the people who are smokers that have to, have a pin in their mouth or something, to get the tactile feeling. It's like that with a phone. It's just a block you're holding that's the size of a phone.
And
you can't do anything with it. You just carry it around.
Like it's just a block of plastic or something. Yeah. What the hell?
It's even if that's a very stupid product, it's a bad enough problem that someone went, hey, I've got a solution to this. What if we just gave everyone something that doesn't do anything to hold for a while? This'll make me $1 million.
Wow, yeah, I guess I really didn't realize. I don't know. I mean, the internet's a wonderful thing, but it's a double-edged sword for sure, right? Like, Well, it's even more edges than
Yeah,
that, I would say. It's got a lot of edges.
There's
a lot of problems.
It's a throwing star. There's a lot of blades to that thing.
There we go. There we go. There are some good things, and then there's a lot, like you say, a lot of sharp points.
Oh, yeah. Well, the perfect example is wading into the cesspool of Facebook now.
Yeah,
because
truly.
You can go on there and see your aunt posting quote-unquote news articles from ultimatepatriotofamerica.com or whatever.
Right. Yeah,
and
exactly.
Then your cousin posting articles from liberalleftKnowledge.com in rebuttal, and you're like,
Yeah.
none of this is real news. You guys are just consuming garbage constantly. Cool.
Yay!
Great.
Well, we were talking about okay, all right, the whole idea that social media connects us. Well, I mean, I guess that is true in some instances, but I think overwhelmingly, it's not real connection that we're experiencing.
So I have a theory about this.
Okay. Yeah.
My theory is it makes things worse. In general, it obviously makes things worse. But as far as like connection, with people goes, because all you have, we'll talk about Instagram. We'll use Instagram as an example. I'm just going after Zuckerberg everywhere here.
Fine. Fine.
Instagram, you got all these people who are like, I know that person. No one's posting real stuff on Instagram.
No, definitely not. It's all very
even the people who are like, this is a real moment right here. Yeah, it's a real moment that you pose to take a picture of. It's not a real moment.
Right. No, no.
I saw someone on Facebook one of the very few times that I've waded into the cesspool again, who was like, this is a real moment, and posted a picture of them with like a crying face. Like, okay, maybe you were crying, but you also stopped and went, I should take a picture of this and share it with everyone. That's not a real moment.
Yeah. No, it's not.
And if you have that and all this nonsense, phony garbage, the connection is super fake, and everyone ends up feeling less connected than they were to begin with.
Yep, I think that's what's happening. Yeah, I think that's exactly what's happening. And you might criticize us right now because we're on a podcast, but this whole thing is just us talking to each other.
This is an actual connection.
This is an actual connection.
Talking to each other. It's not. It's not people posting GIFs back and forth.
Right. It's not. Yeah. Exactly. No, it's true. Yeah, and I think I take your point strongly that it is, and we see. Gosh, I was listening to something. It might have been on the Psychology podcast, which is a real show with a real psychologist.
That sounds exciting.
I know. He was saying there's like an epidemic of loneliness, basically, and I think this is a part of that. Definitely, like. Well, for people that are sort of vulnerable to feeling like shit anyway, it definitely makes you feel more like shit. Because our brains have a hard time wrapping around the idea that this is not people's entire lives, right? Like, they get up, they shit, they have bad days, they are bored, they are boring.
It's the same thing, not to throw more Kardashians under the bus, but...
How many does it take to stop a bus, though, really?
How many Kardashians would stop a... You'd need a whole pile of Kardashians. Is there a pile of them? Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
But it's the same thing as that. Like, people watch that show and go, look at their life. No. Look at the part of their life that is scripted, at least semi-scripted, that they were
Yeah.
willing to
Oh,
show
yeah.
on TV.
Right.
On Instagram,
Yes.
look at the
Yes.
part of their life that they're willing to take a picture of and post. The
Yep.
girls who are the fitness models, quote unquote, that are, in their leggings and sports bras doing yoga poses. They don't do yoga all day.
Right. No, they don't. They certainly don't, Nathan. They certainly don't.
At some point, they go and they eat a garbage cheeseburger and feel bad about themselves.
They
Yeah.
certainly do. Which is a good reminder to you to do yoga. But yeah, I mean, it's just, it is. And it plays on the sort of pre-existing stuff in our culture about these ideas of success and about all our hang-ups with image and all that stuff. It just makes it worse. And, I mean, in reality, there's nothing that separates any of those people from you, We're all basically the same. I mean, our circumstances can be very different, and some of us have a lot more struggles than others. But, at the core, we're just, this is my view, we're just atoms. We're just fucking shit. We're these I'm struggling. I know. This is like pothead talk.
Just fucking shit, man.
We're all just fucking shit. Take that quote. We're all just these hairless apes. Right? Sorry, I know that's a bit of a Joe Roganism, but
Ugh, that guy.
we tied it all back together somehow. But yeah, we're not so different. At our makeup. There's nothing really special about most people. Even you look at the Einsteins, right? And we look at someone that's that level of genius, and now we look at him and think, that guy probably had autism. You know what I mean? So that kind of brings him down.
I mean, really, the main difference is some of us just haven't spent time trying to figure out the correct angle for our pictures.
Oh, right.
That's the
That is a big
main
difference. Yeah. That is a big difference. Yeah.
I've
spent
zero time trying to
to
trying to find my appropriate angle. So
Oh, yeah, right. You want to shoot from underneath, I'm told. You want to get a good shot of your wallet.
You want to shoot low and looking down, but in a way where you're sure to give yourself a double chin. Yeah.
I think that's
it.
That, and try to develop, some sort of impediment that you can capitalize on.
Yeah.
I think
Why
that
not?
makes the most sense.
I mean, none of it matters anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing I kind of want to close with, if you don't mind.
Let's get depressing here.
I've heard. Let's get real depressing. So I haven't read the book yet, but I did hear an interview with her. This physicist, Katie Mack, is her name, and she's wrote a book about. I think it's called "The End of Everything," and there are many scenarios in which the universe ends. Right? There are lots of ways it could go. But the end game, I think, of her book is the idea is that eventually, regardless of what happens, there will be nothing left in our universe. Not even matter, not even a memory that we were ever here, right? Like, there's no way to preserve the information generated by human beings, right? So everything that we know of that has ever happened will eventually be gone. And there's no way, even if another universe popped up out of this one, right? Like another Big Bang happens, there's no way that anyone in the future, say they are more sentient beings, will ever know that we existed.
Everything is just a simulation.
That's another theory. That's another legitimate theory. Yeah.
I don't know how legitimate it is.
Yeah. Well, there's a holographic theory, too, where, like, I don't understand it enough to explain it, but there's some theory that says like we could be living basically in a simulation, or I don't know, because everything can be represented in a more simple way than how we perceive.
I'm sure
I
there's
don't really understand
a full
it enough to talk about
9-hour interview from Joe Rogan with someone talking about it.
Well, until we meet again, folks. Let's leave everyone with a real, brain squeezer tonight. Just think about how nothing matters.
I'm glad that we can be here during this difficult time to just cheer everyone up. Like, we are a beacon of light, just bringing the positive good news to people. Isn't that great?
I do. It is
Sushi
great,
jackknife.
Nathan. Sushi jackknife.